All right, good evening and welcome to the interim board meeting. This is an interim board meeting?
This is a regular.
Okay, this is a regular board meeting of the Board of School Directors of the School District of Springfield Township. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A reading of the mission statement. The mission of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high-achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community. Mr. King, roll call.
Mr. Bedard.
Here.
Mr. Chapman.
Here.
Ms. Jordan.
Here.
Mr. Lapidus. Ms. Nelson.
Here.
Mr. Rayer. Ms. Sarsfield. Ms. Lipinski.
Here.
Dr. Teretuski.
Here. Announcements. The board at its discretion may videotape all or portions of the public board meetings subject to the limitations set forth in policy 006.2, broadcasting of meetings. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoon following the board meeting. Are there any public comments on agenda items?
I have not gotten.
Okay. Let's move to approval of the minutes. Approval June 4th, 2019 interim meeting board minutes Q and June 19th, 2019 regular board minutes R. Is there a motion?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Lipinski.
Aye.
Dr. Teretuski.
Aye. Approval of the Treasurer's Report, June 30th, 2019, Treasurer's Report J, and July 31st, 2019, Treasurer's Report A. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Lipinski.
Aye.
Dr. Teretuski.
Aye. Reports and information. Reports of committees. Property Committee, Gretchen Lipinski.
We had a property committee on Tuesday, July 31st. We had on the agenda to speak with some community members who attended the meeting. There is a proposed construction project at 380 Hosleen, which is the wooded area next to Erdenheim. And the community members wanted to come and talk to the committee about their opposition to the proposed 55-plus community. They shared their concerns about traffic, concerns for student safety, concerns for the aesthetic appeal of the neighborhood, and they were just asking the school district and the board to discuss and to think about a potential level of involvement. So we did discuss as a community a little bit, and then we will be following up with the full board at a meeting in September. Options for the disposition of Enfield site. We saw a presentation by Schrader Group and T&M Associates. We had a community meeting May 13th, and out of that meeting, they changed some of the proposals. The committee saw a few different options. There was definitely one option that the committee preferred, but we asked for a little bit more information, specifically regarding the maintenance cost if we should decide to have some sort of a facility house or a field house put in on the property. We're intending to have another community meeting this fall to share what we're proposing at that time. The high school renovation and early learning center update. The early learning center is on track to be ready by fall of 2020. That's 1 year from now. I keep forgetting what year this is and trying to figure it out. So that's approximately a year from now it will be done. The administration is thinking about what kind of staffing will be needed once we have 3 grades at Erdenheim and 3 grades at the new school, how that staffing can be distributed. The high school construction is on track to be completed by December 2019. The contracts are turning over sections of the building as they become available. And as everyone has probably noticed, that the new entrance by the stadium was open that day on July 31st. We were very excited about that. And I know that I've pulled in there and drove all the way around the building a few times, just like, oh, this is so great. Everything's looking great. It's very exciting. And that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. And Dr. Hacker, administrative report.
So that was a perfect segue into my announcing that we will be having a community meeting on September 18th, a Wednesday evening at 6:30 in the Freeze lobby of the high school, in order to talk about the disposition of the land at Enfield and to discuss the options that were considered at the property committee meeting. So that's a save the date reminder for everyone. Again, it's Wednesday, September 18th at 6:30 p.m. in the Freeze lobby of the high school. And as you noted, we're very, very pleased that we now have our official opening to the new driveway at the high school. We're looking forward to the connection. They're finishing up the millwork in the driveway around the back of the building as well. There's tremendous progress with all of the other portions of the high school that are still under construction. Hopefully, we will be on track to finish all of that in December. The new gym looks phenomenal. The fitness equipment has been moved into the fitness center, so we're very excited about that. So progress is being made, and there are some drone videos and shots that have been posted to the website on the main page of the website. There is a link there if anyone would like to take a look at those. And there is also new information on the website about the school district, which we've posted, including history, budget information, and so forth, as well as information about our equity initiative. So those are two interesting aspects under district that people can check.
Thank you. All right, new business, personnel. The board number one, the Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment. Certificated personnel, support personnel, extra pay for extra responsibilities, and conference workshop attendance. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Lipinski.
Aye.
Dr. Terratescu.
Aye. Number two, Cristaldo Associates, Inc., contract. The Board of School Directors approves the agreement between the School District of Springfield Township and Cristaldo Associates for on-site interpreting services for the 2019-20 school year as per the attachment D. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Mr. King?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Lipinski.
Aye.
Dr. Terratescu.
Aye. Number three, 2019-2020 enrollment contract. Board of School Directors approves the 2019-2020 enrollment contract with the Camp Hill School and the School District of Springfield Township for student 201-908-20-01. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Mr. King?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Lipinski.
Aye.
Dr. Terratescu.
Aye. Number four, 2019-2020 enrollment contract. The Board of School Directors approves the 2019-2020 enrollment contract with the Camp Hill School and the School District of Springfield Township for student 201-908-20-02. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Mr. King?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Lipinski.
Aye.
Dr. Terratescu.
Aye. Number five, Rachel's Challenge. The Board of School Directors approves the agreement between the School District of Springfield Township and Rachel's Challenge for Rachel's Challenge event programming on October 10th, 2019, in the amount of $4,800. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Can you just take a second and explain what Rachel's Challenge is for the members of the
I believe there
audience?
should be some backup in your board packet, but it's an anti-bullying and anti-drug and alcohol and substance abuse program The package that we are purchasing includes assembly programs for students. It includes information for staff, including professional development, and includes community workshops as well.
Thank you. For the entire district?
No, it's for the high school.
For the high school, okay. All right. Any other comments, questions? Mr. King?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Lipinski.
Aye.
Dr. Jankowski.
Aye. Number 6, Watershed Consulting and Consultation Services. The Board of School Directors approves the agreement between the School District of Springfield Township and Watershed Counseling and Consultation Services, LLC, for Basis 103 training in each of the district school buildings in the amount of $3,990. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay. Mr. King?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Lipinski.
Aye.
Dr. Jankowski.
Aye. Number 7, Montgomery County Offices of Drug and Alcohol and Mental Health. Board of School Directors approves the letter of agreement with the Montgomery County Offices of Drug and Alcohol and Mental Health. This agreement serves to document the cooperative agreement between Aldersgate Youth Services Bureau and the School District of Springfield Township for the 2019-2020 school year, and includes a program service plan which includes direct prevention, intervention, mental health, and consultative services at no cost to the district. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, Mr. King?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Lipinski.
Aye.
Dr. Jankowski.
Aye. At this time, are there any public comments on non-agenda items? Can you share your name and address, please? Thanks.
My name is Deidre Wright. I am a third grade teacher at Erdenheim Elementary School, 500 Halls Lane. I am not a resident of Springfield Township. So do you still want my address? I'm not sure how
Actually,
that works. Or you
yeah.
just need the address of
She's not a
Erdenheim
resident.
Elementary.
she's not a resident. Generally, comments are restricted to residents of the township.
Yeah, non-residents are not permitted to speak.
Really? That is unfortunate.
Mm.
Why is that?
The purpose of the public speaking requirement is limited to those people who are residents and pay taxes in the community.
If you do have a question, you
Well,
can-
no, because then I did write it down, so I will just have a resident speak in my stead. And she is on her thing.
I can do it.
Okay. Of course, anywhere you see I can just be me, but I'll be here with you. Speaking.
can you share
Piper Williams, 8312 MacArthur Road, Whitmore, PA, 19038. Tuesday, August 20th. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Good evening, school board members and all those in attendance this evening. Ms. Wright read a quote on July 8th back when she penned the first draft of the words she will read to you tonight, that I will read to you tonight. It said, "Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing." Throughout this entire summer break, she has waited in vain for an official statement from administration condemning the use of the N-word. Condemning the use of the N-word that occurred in our basis training, that occurred in
Well, no, because it was more.
the school district's basics training on June 18, 2019. Their silence on the issue is like a cancer left to metastasize in the minds and bodies of those who were offended. Mrs. Wright would like to give you some context. The teachers you see here tonight represent those who were shaken by the fact that an Erdenheim teacher so willingly stood up to say this word twice, using stereotypical hand motions and a workshop involving teachers and instructional aides from both Erdenheim and Enfield elementary schools. The reason for Mrs. Wright's outrage stems from the fact that she spent many hours listening to Erdenheim teachers say that they wanted to end the use of the word among students, but felt afraid to speak on the issue. Instead of chiding these teachers for putting their own feelings above the needs and feelings of students offended by its use, she extended care to these teachers by writing a lesson that they could use in their classrooms. She genuinely offered them help because she cares about the teachers she works with just as much as she cares about the students. Imagine how she feels that no care is extended to her. Not only did this teacher who heard her speak on the issue of the N-word,
I'm sorry. Because I updated it.
for the record, the teacher did not have to use this word. Another teacher who was role-playing with this individual spoke first, asking, "Why did you say that?" That being the N-word. According to the scenario presented, it was to be assumed that the word was already said by the students, and we were to role-play a response to this microaggression. An aside by me, the N-word is not a microaggression. We were instructed to practice appropriate responses to microaggressions as one would practice stop, drop, and roll. It was not expected that we would practice setting one another on fire. This teacher could have responded with any number of typical students responded, such as, "We're friends," "I am just saying hi," "We're just joking," "We didn't mean anything negative by it," etc. This way, we could have heard the other teacher practice how to combat this language. Instead, the teacher responded, replete with hand motions, "'Cause he my N-word." When given the microphone, this was repeated for everyone to hear even better. That response was not even an answer to the question asked. Moreover, it was an atypical response. The average student would not still say the N-word directly to a teacher, especially one who was already reacting to it. Not only that, our presenter did not even spell the word in the given scenario. It was written N-word, sending a message that she did not intend to say or hear the word. So why would a Springfield teacher think it could be said in this context? We are here tonight because we believe this teacher took the opportunity to say the N-word at this time because nothing has occurred in our collective experience in this district from the top down that makes people feel like it is prohibited. For example, just before the N-word incident, we were given a scenario where a boy is jumping rope with girls and another boy passes by and either says, "That's so gay," or "He's so gay." Yet nobody pretended to be a boy with stereotypical effeminate behaviors when asked to consider a response to this microaggression. You want to know why? Because everyone in that room was very aware that doing so would offend our colleagues who identify as gay and make a host of other people uncomfortable. We would not dare mock them under the guise of role play. Our superintendent has gone on television to tell our entire community of stakeholders what the district's position on LGBTQ rights would be. That stance was made crystal clear not only in her media appearance, but also in staff meetings in each of our 4 schools. However, when it comes to the N-word, no clear stance of its non-usage has ever been made, allowing both teachers and students to recklessly disrupt our school environment, cause massive damage to our working relationship, yet be shielded by a realm of ambiguity that the word, "I didn't know any better," "it was the presenter's fault," and a host of other lame excuses. Mrs. Wright has been teaching this district for 11 years and has been speaking out against these aggressions as far back as 2014.
You wouldn't be able to speak specifically to those things as I would.
Yeah.
So you can just say, there have been many. But feel free to interview on this board to please come talk to me. I'll tell you specific ones.
Would you like the rest of it?
Yes, please.
Can I just make a comment? Have any of the teachers launched any kind of internal complaint with any of the administrators to discuss this issue? Has there been any discussions with the administration about concerns about the propriety of what happened?
So The incident occurred at the very end of the school year, so unfortunately, timing was not conducive to that, although it's my understanding that it was addressed at the school. There were 2 schools that were present, whose faculty members were present at that training, Enfield and Erdenheim, and it was addressed at Erdenheim Elementary School, where those teachers who were involved in the incident are housed.
And no names have been used.
Was that question only to Dr. Hacker, or can a teacher who is not a resident?
No, I'm asking
and
who the
taxpayer
speaker.
respond?
The
I'm
speaker.
talking about the speaker.
Yeah, the speaker
You know,
needs to respond.
you know, we're only addressing, this is not a town meeting, so it's just addressed. What I'm suggesting, though, these kinds of comments are probably best addressed, at least initially, internally, and then if the internal mechanisms aren't working, that's when it would typically rise to the level of becoming a board issue.
That's actually why we're here tonight. This particular incident
I'm
is not the
suggesting
first one,
this is-
so just know.
Ms. Wright,
Okay,
I'm
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just let
I
me know.
just want to say that the board is understanding that you have concerns about something that's happened, but we do honestly have internal mechanisms where complaints and concerns and issues need to be addressed. And at this point, the board really needs to understand that those things have been, those mechanisms have been used. And if there is a need to kind of go beyond that, then we will discuss that with administration and figure out how it is we can resolve any issues that still remain.
Speaking as Piper Williams, who's a co-president of the Multicultural Parents Association, I think that our Black teachers at the school feel like they have tried to appeal to administration and have not perhaps been heard.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi. Welcome back, everybody. I guess just speaking also as
Sorry, just for the record, can you
Angel
just...
Toffee.
Thanks.
Welcome, returning from summer. I hope all is well. I think in light of the information that you shared, I think a part of the Multicultural Parent Association follow-through would be like to possibly share some recommendations for future growth and direction based off of this in terms of how the committee could go. And the committee could grow. I believe some of the recommendations that might also be held are recommendations for assistance with policy and suggestions. So I don't think, I would, I guess, like to help by going on the record to say it's not it's not complaint, but I think it was a reflective effort to see how growth could be made in the district with regard to development of policy to assist in creating a sense of belonging and safe space coming out of the conversations with, for example, the Social Justice and Equity Committee. And at times, I think that is also, I think, a part of the conversation of where something like that might go, might definitely be of assistance to see that it's not out of malice or evil or intent in this, but as teachers of the community for over 30 years combined, plus wanting to really see how when you're talking about belonging of our children, all of our collective children, right? Belonging of our communities, the goal is really, it starts here. So how can we speak of children feeling senses of belonging if you have faculty that don't necessarily, or at times themselves, experience feelings of not belonging? So I think the effort of coming to you now is to be able to spark the conversation about how this can go, because it's not solely complaint. It's something that I believe has been seen, has been known, but really bringing it to the conversation to say, okay, this is happening, and we know efforts are being made, but how can we truly, collectively, when people are in pain, and they're not our children, but they're teaching our children, begin to have a sense of belonging and not in a sense say, I don't know. And I think that's a part of it. Thank you.
If I can just respond, also to perhaps share some information with the board. The intention and the purpose behind the BASIS training is to do, Angela, exactly what you just mentioned. To create and to foster a sense of belonging for students by helping to work with staff members in order to encourage them to recognize who the children are who are sitting before them. BASIS actually refers to belonging and sociocultural identities. The whole idea behind the training that our teachers have been involved in is to help them have the tools that they need to understand what the issues are that children are coming to school with. We understand that when you unpack and discuss many of these issues, that it can create difficult and challenging conversations. As far as that day was concerned, I believe it was the intent of the presenter to present certain scenarios that can occur that can be hurtful, not only to students, but to staff and to family members as well. If there is any dispute at all, it's around the fact that obviously an inflammatory, extraordinarily inflammatory word was used. I do believe that there was an attempt in order for the principal at the close of the school year to address the issue. Whether or not that was done in a manner that might be considered satisfactory, I can't address, and I can't speak as to the staff members that were there that participated in that faculty meeting. But I believe that's the reason why nothing further was done, because there was an attempt to made to bring that faculty together to say, we had something that was very disturbing that occurred. We need to think about it, we need to talk about it, and we don't want to end the school year without addressing what has taken place. If there are residual issues and feelings and conversations past that point that it was desired could have or should have occurred, we were not privy to that, but I can guarantee that we can certainly continue those conversations as we get ready to start a brand new school year. That's critical for us as we move forward.
Can you just share your name and your address,
Sure.
please?
Good evening, everyone. I'm speaking on behalf of some of the teachers, and as a resident, my name is Rob Warren,
Okay.
and I'm a resident. I live on Louise Lane. Okay. Okay. As educators of Springfield, with a collective of over 7 years of experience, we are here today not to just share the gaps in the day-to-day policy, but to share solutions and steps that can happen with immediate resolve and ultimately aid in growth. We present this to the board in this public forum as you are guardians of the district whose task is to provide for the maintenance and support of a thorough and efficient system of public education. What we want: specific board policy regarding the use of all racial epithets for students, staff, and administrators. As of today, there is no specific school board policy on the use of racial epithets for students, staff, and administrators. Board policies are supposed to be reference tools for appropriate action, ethical decision-making, and for dealing with potential and actual conflicts. A listing in the high school handbook is not sufficient, as it does not hold the same weight and, quite frankly, is an inappropriate placement for the level of seriousness and trauma these words induce. With that, we are asking the policy defining an inappropriate use of an outline of consequences is drafted and adopted surrounding racial misconduct, including but not limited to inappropriate racial comments, slurs, jokes, pictures, objects, threats, intimidation, and unequal application of policies, ensuring that the people who make up this organization abide by the board's guidelines and are held accountable with appropriate action. An explanation of rights as it relates to both Title VI and VII posted on the school district website as it is with Title IX. School leaders and educators should be aware of their responsibilities under relevant administrative, civil, and criminal laws. We would like a clear, detailed explanation of rights under Title VII and Title VI. Both are part of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and steps forward following the proper procedures for a fair and impartial investigation when filing a claim posted on the district website. Title VII prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Title VII is different from Title IX in that it is considered to be the most important equal opportunity law enacted because it contains the broadest coverage, prohibition, and remedies to individuals and is governed under the EEOC. In addition, it is imperative to update the anti-harassment and retaliation policy so that it is in accordance with the federal laws under Title VI and Title VII. Concerted effort to add more diversity as it relates to staffing. According to the school performance profile, the makeup of our district in terms of ethnicity is about 3% Asian, 12% Black, 7% Hispanic, 73% white. We are asking that the district moves toward a commitment of matching that number in regards to classroom teachers of color, which is currently less than 10%. Similar to the required sexual harassment, we are asking that equity training be mandatory as of now. If an employee misses a professional development day, there is no process for making up what was missed. This is not the case for sexual harassment training, and we are asking for that to change. We also would like to rethink how we run our district's diversity training. Teachers who have been managing the feelings of daily personal and professional indignities of hostile microaggressions since birth should not be in the same equity training with anyone who needs a word definition to identify one. Just as teachers collect data to inform instructions, the same thing should be done when developing diversity and equity tasks. A way to do this is to ask both students and staff what they need. To start, emotion and problem-focused coping responses related to secondhand stress, race and gender-related stressors, isolation and exclusion, and shifting or code switching to overcome barriers are topics that are valuable for teachers interacting among teachers and with students. Similar to tech coaches, literacy coaches, and math coaches, we are asking for diversity coaches for our district. What we have presented this evening requires a massive undertaking where teachers must be a part of the oversight of such efforts on a full-time continuum. In prior meetings, we have asked and have not been heard, so we are asking again. Racial inequities in regard to educating all of our children is an issue that many districts have been working against across our country since 1619. However, one of the many things that make our district great is its willingness to be at the forefront of issues affecting our children. Our district became one of the first in Pennsylvania to officially adopt a policy allowing transgender students to use bathrooms and locker rooms of the gender they identify with, not the one or their birth certificates, the one on their birth certificates. Excuse me. The Springfield Township School Board introduced Policy 253 on March 15, 2016, and unanimously adopted the regulation on April 9, 2016, 1 month later. We are asking for the same expedience with regard to issues being presented today, as our concerns fall in line with our district's 6 points of educational equity. We know this isn't without controversy, one once said, but regardless, we want to make a statement that as a school district, this is who we are, this is what we believe, and we will support all our students. Thank you.
Can I just ask, I want to make sure I heard everything that's been clear. I just want to clarify that I wrote down 5 things that you asked. So I just want to go through them so I know I personally heard them. Okay? First thing I heard you ask for was a policy change to include racial epithets and the things that you mentioned to be protected by the board, not just by a high school handbook. That's the first ask I heard, correct? Second was an update on our anti-harassment policy to include the same things. Number 3 was a commitment to matching the demographics of teachers that match somewhat the demographics of students in our district. Number 4 was a professional development policy requirement that teachers go through a training as much as they would sexual harassment or other things, and a commitment to make sure that's seen and completed. And number 5 was diversity training and equity, understanding the stressors and barriers and coaches in the district. Did I capture all of that? Was there another ask that I missed? Because I want to make sure I grabbed it.
I think that's it. Anyone can assist me? I think that's it, though.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So typically, there's not response from the board, it's not an opportunity for discussion, but I just want to assure those that are in attendance that the board met in jointly with administration in the spring of last year to discuss equity training, to discuss equity policy, and an equity statement by the board. And the board has been considering information and doing research on that and working with a consultant, and the board will be issuing an equity statement that will guide our work here in the district and will support the administration's work in that area. The district has made a commitment and does make regular efforts towards hiring staff that mirrors our community. We have been, as a board, we have been apprised of that and those efforts. And we can certainly, we do have regular meetings of our policy committee in the district and for the board, and those are also open meetings to the public. When one is scheduled, it will be posted on the website, and I would encourage anybody who's interested in policy issues to come to that meeting and bring the policy and your concerns and requests to that meeting.
If I may add one additional suggestion, which is not within the direct control of the district, it's my understanding that the professional employees here are represented by the Pennsylvania State Education Association, and they do have a peer mediation program that is available to address these kinds of issues internal to the administration of the union, and to deal with those issues. And they may also have some opportunities to address the issue coming from another direction. That's not meant to excuse or obviate the responsibilities of the district, but they have those resources also, and perhaps can partner as part of the process.
Thanks, Mr. Sultan, I appreciate that. Are there any other comments at this time? Okay. Future meeting dates, there's an interim board meeting on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019, 7 p.m. in the Freeze Memorial Lobby, and a regular school board meeting on Tuesday, September 17th, 2019, at 7 p.m. in the Freeze Memorial Lobby. This is also just another reminder that there will be a community meeting regarding the disposition of Enfield on September 18th at 6:30 p.m. in the Freeze Memorial Lobby. Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate those who have attended and spoken. Have a good evening.